Close your eyes. Imagine that you're jogging down a long, winding road. You smell freshly mowed grass. You feel the wind blowing against your face and sweat pouring down. You hear a loud ringing sound in your ears. It's echoing. It's growing louder and louder and louder. You turn around and you see a truck coming at you. You can't move right. You can't move left. The honking's getting louder until eventually, open your eyes. What's to separate this experience in a dream from one that happens in reality? What is to say that those feelings that you felt weren't really real? Did you not smell the grass? Did you not feel the wind? Did you not feel the sweat pouring down your face? Lucid dreams hold the answer. I'm going to provide info about what lucid dreams are, how they were discovered, their historical, cultural, and scientific background, what distinguishes them from normal dreams, how to interpret them, how to utilize them, what their roles are in history, and methods for obtaining them. I'm going to begin by defining lucid dreams, their properties, and I'm going to tell you the difference between lucid dreams and normal dreams. A lucid dream is simply a dream in which a dreamer realizes that they are dreaming. They were originally postulated in 1913 by Frederick Van Eden, whose theory was as follows. The reintegration of the psychic functions is so complete that the sleeper reaches a state of perfect awareness and is able to direct his attention and to attempt different acts of free volition. Yet the sleep, as I am able to confidently state, is undisturbed, deep, and refreshing. Psychologists denied this theory for over 50 years, until it was finally proven by Keith Hearn. But I'll get to that in a minute. As is commonly known by doctors, neurotransmitters in the brain suppress physical action from happening during your sleep. There's a chemical that gets released and you're not able to move. You're stuck in a paralyzed state. But Keith Hearn knew that your eyes are the only things that move in your sleep, and he postulated that maybe if a dreamer became lucid, they would be able to signal if they were lucid dreaming through the dream. On his first attempt at doing this with someone who was able to lucid dream, they were able to convey the eye signal, and he was able to tell that they were in fact dreaming when it happened. And weirdly enough, another researcher at Stanford, Stephen LaBerge, discovered the exact same thing with a similar experiment and different patients, and he continued on to write a book about his findings, which is the source of most of what I know about lucid dreaming. Lucid dreams do not entail complete control, however. If you become aware that you're dreaming in a dream, it doesn't necessarily mean that anything seems less real. There's varying levels of lucidity. Low-level lucidity maybe would entail that you would be aware that you're dreaming, but the threats that you see, maybe if there was a monster, would seem very frightening and very real, and the people in it you are very concerned about. Whereas, if you have a high level of lucidity, you are very aware that everything in the dream is completely created by your mind, and you're not worried about the people that you're going to be affecting. You can act completely freely without any worrying about ramifications for your actions. A quote by Stephen LaBerge enforces this theory. The environment of a dream is strongly conditioned by the inner state of the dreamer. If the dreamer courageously faced up to a threatening figure, its threatening nature in general gradually diminished and the figure itself began to shrink. If the dreamer, on the other hand, allowed himself to be filled with fear, the threatening nature of the dream figure increased and the figure itself began to grow. You let your dreams control you, they will, but if you control your dreams, then you'll be able to control them. The power of the brain is overwhelming, and complete control seems kind of impossible for a lot of people, and it may be unattainable. But the more valuable thing to be learned from lucid dreaming, or from dreams in general, is the things that are undiscovered about your brain. You can discover hidden motives, thoughts, ideas, fantasies, interests, concepts that you never even thought were imaginable before. Your brain is way more active when you are asleep, and interestingly enough, that inspires more creation, because your mind has to create these different environments for you to interact with completely out of nothing. Everything that you see in a dream, everything that you touch, everything that you do is completely created from what your brain knows and different experiences that you've had. As a result of this, artists and writers often use dreams as inspiration. For example, the book Frankenstein and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and the Twilight series were all inspired by dreams. They can also be used for problem solving. A quote from Stephen LaBerge's book once again. I once had a lucid dream about a frightening ogre whom I confronted by projecting feelings of love and acceptance, leading to a pleasurable, peaceful, and empowering resolution to my dream. Suppose I had chosen to turn my adversary into a toad, however. How would that help me if I were to find myself in conflict with my boss or another authority figure that I might see as an ogre, despite my being awake? this can help you practice things or problem solve things when you're in a dream. You can practice public speaking in a dream if you're afraid of that. I mean, the possibilities are endless. As soon as you realize that there are no ramifications for your actions within a dream, you can act how you would like to act instead of the way that you're afraid to act in real life. Moving on to out-of-body experiences. These are experienced by pretty much 9 out of 10 people, and it's a phenomenon that's widely studied but also very misunderstood, and we don't know too much about it, but the properties of out-of-body experiences are extremely similar to lucid dreams. In fact, the only difference between lucid dreams and out-of-body experiences are that people who experience out-of-body experiences feel as though that they have entered that state from being awake instead of from being in a dream. And the symptoms are vibrations, heaviness, and a feeling that you've left your physical body. This happens to both people who have lucid dreams and people who have out-of-body experiences. It's unknown whether or not they're the same thing, and it's continued to be researched. Moving on to religion. Many religions reference an astral plane or alternate level of existence in which communication is available to higher powers. In some cases gods, in some cases angels, many different things, but no matter how they say it, all comes down to dreams are the entry point. Christianity and Judaism are two of the major ones, and there are 98 references to dreams in the Bible. A few of the main examples are Joseph's communication from God through the Egyptians in Genesis, Solomon's communication with God through dreams in Kings, and angels appearing in dreams in Matthew in the New Testament. Moving on to Hinduism, in the book Merging with Siva, Hinduism's Contemporary Metaphysics, they reference multiple planes of existence in Hinduism, and there's a practice of deep meditation that they say eliminates dreams and allows them to move on to an astral school of learning while they are asleep. I didn't really elaborate on that, but it's basically the same kind of deal. They're going in, they're learning from a higher power, and everyone references it a different way, but it means the same thing. Now that you know what lucid dreams are, where they can be applied, where they originated from, their applications, I'm going to share with you methods of obtaining them. The uses for lucid dreams and the mystery behind them makes them very desirable, but there are many steps that need to be taken before you can actually do lucid dreaming, as with anything else. People have on average about 5 dreams per night, which is very, very strange because it seems as though we have 1 or maybe even none when we wake up. And this is a result of our mind trying to erase dreams from our conscious thought, which is a phenomenon that is extremely shocking but also interesting at the same time. There are many theories to explain this. Freud's theory of repression is the first one, and that is based on the content of our dreams results from wishes and longings that are censored from our conscious thought. Dream expert L. Stumpbell theorized that our thoughts and dreams are not organized enough for our brain to understand them. And finally, in the book The Mind in Sleep, Psychology and Psychophysiology, it is postulated that the reason that we cannot remember dreams is because our brain is either attached to our dream body or our physical body. And when we wake up, we move, and that physical action in our physical world, the real world, will separate us from the dream world because our brain concentrates on our dream body, and when we awake and move like this, it has to shift. And it forgets everything that's been going on in your dream because it has to shift all of its concentration to your physical body. Moving on to steps. Dream recall. You are going to want to be able to identify if you've been dreaming, because how are you going to know if you're having a lucid dream if you can't even remember if you were dreaming? One of the things that helps with this is repeating the mantra, I will remember my dreams before you go to sleep, either in your mind or out loud. I will remember my dreams. I will remember my dreams. The first time I did that, I had an astronomical breakthrough. When I woke up, I remembered 3 dreams in extreme detail, and that's compared to my normal 1 dream per night, or maybe even no dreams per night, that are very foggy at the best, that I can't even explain in real words. And you want to avoid moving when you wake up, obviously. I just talked about how it physically separates you from your dream body, and you can tend to forget things when that happens. And the most important thing is to keep a dream journal. So if you wake up, don't move, try to collect your ideas and thoughts and write down everything you can remember. And that helped me a lot too. When I started doing that, my dreams became clearer and clearer and clearer, and I was able to write them down better and better and better. Dream signs are another thing you want to look out for. After you've been keeping a dream journal for a while, you want to look through and see if there are patterns with all the things that you've been having in your dreams. And if there are something like a purple cat or just very strange things that keep on appearing in your dreams that you wouldn't see in real life, as soon as you can identify those things, you'll be able to realize you're dreaming quicker. So like, say it was a purple cat, and you're like in a dream, you're not knowing that you're dreaming, and you see a purple cat, your mind will unconsciously be like, oh, that means I'm dreaming, and you'll be able to snap into a state of lucidity. Reality checks are similar to this as well. You want to, it's really easy to have something like a watch or something that you can check during the day in real life, so that when you're in your dream, if it acts differently and you see it acting differently, you'll be able to recognize it, kind of like Inception, where they have the little totems, and if it acts differently, like the little spinning top that doesn't ever topple in the dream or that topples in real life. So the most helpful thing, though, is not something like that. You're going to want something like a watch that you can look at, and then you can look away from and look back at, and if the symbols change when you look back at it, that's a clear indicator. And research indicates that if you do that, you look at a watch, look away, and look back at a dream, 75% of the time it will change on the first look, and then on the second one, if it didn't change the first time, there's a 95% chance that it will change. There is a problem, though, sometimes with achieving lucidity, which is false awakening. Sometimes when you realize that you're in a dream, you'll have a false awakening in a bed, which means you're still dreaming, but you'll feel as though you're in the exact same room, and your mind will do a very, very good job at creating this environment. So it's important for you to be able to recognize those reality checks sometimes. So if you think that you might be dreaming, you want to be able to perform those things. Look at your watch, look for purple cats, look for whatever your dream signs are. Those things will help you realize if you're having a false awakening. Also, if physical motion in your dream continues into your bed, that's another indicator. So like if you were spinning in your dream, and you wake up spinning in your bed, that probably means that you're still dreaming, because the physical actions are not supposed to be connected. Another problem is when someone achieves lucidity and realizes, hey, I'm dreaming, they often have a chance of waking up and getting so excited that they'll wake up and their dream will start to fade. And a easy way to prevent this is to create physical motion in your dream. Spinning around seems to be the most effective method, as to keep yourself grounded in your dream. It's the same basic concept that physical motion in the dream will keep your brain focused on that instead of your actual physical body. So spinning, falling backwards, rubbing your hands together are all great things to keep yourself physically stimulated in your dream. You can keep on obtaining this by practice, and if you keep on achieving lucid dreams, there's potential for new experiences, and they're exciting, and they're unlike anything else. I've talked about information about lucid dreams, what they are, their roots in history, religion, culture, science, methods of achieving them, and much more. And lucid dreams are only limited to the limits that are placed upon them. They have an endless potential, and they have the potential to be one of the most meaningful experiences in your life. But they're very underappreciated, just like anything else. I'll end with a quote from Stephen LaBerge. "The view of dreams as world models is from the traditional notion of dreams as messages. Whether from the gods or from the unconscious mind, I have presented arguments against the letters to yourself view of dreams elsewhere. Be that as it may, interpretation of dreams can be a very revealing of personality and can be a rewarding, valuable practice." Even though I've given you this seemingly